Hello, I'm Andrea Wright, and I'm a partner in our nonprofit practice. And joining me is Melanie Barthel, who is a senior manager in our nonprofit practice. Thank you so much for joining us for our discussion on nonprofit revenue recognition. In 2019, ASU 2014-09 revenue from contracts with customers became effective. This ASU sets forth a single framework that all organizations, including nonprofit organizations, must use when recognizing revenue. The core principles of this ASU require that an organization recognize revenue from contracts with customers based on the transfer of goods or services from those customers, determined by the amount the organization expects to receive for those goods or services. Nonprofit organizations' revenue transactions that are applicable are essentially exchange transactions. Melanie, could you tell us what type of exchange transactions might a not-for-profit organization consider for this standard?
Sure. Nonprofit exchange transactions that might be subject to this standard include membership dues, tuition and housing revenue, publications, conferences, and event revenue. Essentially, any revenue exchange transaction in which there's a reciprocal exchange between two entities. That is, each entity gets and receives something of value. There are a few types of revenue transactions that are specifically excluded from the standard, and these include insurance reimbursements and rental income. While contributions are not specifically excluded under the standard, contributions do not meet the definition of an exchange transaction and therefore would not be subject to the standard.
Thank you, Melanie. A nonprofit organization is required to follow the 5-step principle for all exchange transactions. And those 5 steps include: first, identify a contract with a customer. Step 2, determine or identify performance obligations. Step 3, determine the transaction price. Step 4, allocate the transaction price to the performance obligations. And step 5, recognize revenue. In this series, Melanie and I will take you through each of the 5 steps, and we will close with some disclosure considerations as nonprofit organizations consider the effects of ASU 2014-09 revenue from contracts with customers on their financial statements.